It has only
हमारे लिए
gotten
ना, लाइक
better.
हमारे जैसे लोगों के लिए तो कॉमिक कॉन इज लाइक
It's
मंदिर.
the holy grail, the mandir है वो.
Actually, yeah.
It's a temple.
Hi everyone, welcome to episode 7 of Pay It Forward. Today we have a very interesting conversation lined up for you, especially for the geeks out there. Before we get into today's video, go and subscribe to my channel OfWordsandBlues and hit that bell icon so that you are notified whenever new videos are uploaded. Go, subscribe, go now. The star of today's video is Varun Vitthaldas Prabhu. Like Mary Brains, he is also a very multifaceted personality. He's an author, a ghostwriter, an editor, a gamer, and a cartographer. Yes, you heard it right. He creates digital maps. Remember the maps we saw in Lord of the Rings or in Wheel of Time? Or the ones more recently we have seen and loved in Brandon Sanderson's Oathbringer and Rhythm of War, the Stormlight Archives? Yes, that's what I'm talking about. Because cartography is such a new field in India, and more importantly because I have so little knowledge of it, I've called Varun to pay it forward so that you can hear it from the horse's mouth. Fair warning, this session is a total geek out session between two high fantasy lovers, and I apologize in advance if you do not understand some of the terms that we are using. So without any further ado, let's get started.
Hi Varun, welcome to Pay It Forward. It's so exciting to have you here. Thank you so much for agreeing to come here and have a conversation with me.
Thank you for inviting me to your show. I feel honored, by the way. I used to be an editor first.
Okay.
I used to edit books. I think I got tired of it sometime around. I do edit books still, and still edit books, but very less. I take on very few clients. I do mostly ghostwriting for international authors who basically write and edit mostly fantasy and sci-fi books. So I stick to the genres I'm very proficient at, and that's because I've been reading and writing fantasy and sci-fi from like bachpan se, from childhood. So basically, my first fantasy book was Lord of the Rings at the age of 9 or 10. Around.
Right.
So when people were reading famous files, I used to read Lord of the Rings. And I do like thrillers and mystery, crime, वगैरह, but fantasy, horror, or sci-fi is my preference.
I think people who like fantasy, they've all had their beginnings with Lord of the Rings, because even I remember reading Lord of the Rings at that age. Yeah.
It is an entry point, you can say, and it is a beautiful world. Of course, under later generations, it became Harry Potter as an entry point.
Yes.
But Harry Potter is more like an urban fantasy than a high fantasy. If you are going for a high fantasy, it is always Lord of the Rings that is one entry point. And if you are going to be liking the Middle Earth or the very beauty of it, I mean, I still want to go to Middle Earth. I just don't want to live here. If I was given a chance, there's some kind of a portal that takes you to. I would rather fight an orc than doing whatever I'm doing now.
Right.
I would like to stay in Namaste Artists or Rivendell or hell if I want to return.
Oh my God, Rivendell! I would give anything to be in Rivendell for just one day. Just one day.
Yeah. And the movies, they captured a very the visually interpretation was really good. The Peter Jackson did a really good job with the Lord of the Rings movie. So the movie, I saw the movies later after reading the books. Obviously, I had some complaints. Obviously, a book person will always have a complaint with adaptations.
Obviously, yeah.
Obviously, we'll complain. Why?
This is not how it happened in the book, by the way.
Yeah, this doesn't happen in the books. Why is it like this? The level of world building that Tolkien has gone to, it is not easily visible even in the Lord of the Rings books as well. I mean, books mein hai, story hai, there is a world, there are so many places. We get introduced to the cultures, but the real world building is there. He has done is in the Silmarillion or the Unfinished Tale.
Yes.
The level and the depth of world building he has gone to, that is what made me come to this job.
Right.
The study from scratch. Yes, it is inspired by Celtic and Viking mythologies, of course, obviously, because every fantasy stems from reality. People don't understand that. अब ऐसा है कि fantasy is not for kids. People think who don't read fantasy. Fantasy is for kids. Fantasy is not for kids. Fantasy is for everyone.
Yes.
Actually,
There's
a lot of depth and realism in fantasy stories more than any realistic story. Actually,
right.
Fantastically, if you read Lord of the Rings, Harry Potter, or Wheel of Time, or even Sanderson's recent Stormlight Arc, there are so many realistic themes running around.
Right.
That you don't find it. You don't find it in the regular your basic thriller. Thriller obviously is fast paced, so you have no time to focus on the message you're giving out or the theme you are running through. Crime suspense is more deeply more on solving the murder. But fantasy is about everything. You're focusing on a culture, a new religion, or a new cult.
Yeah, you're creating. You are basically creating a whole new world, right?
World, yes. So that is something I love doing, creating these whole new worlds and imagining things out of the blue. That same thing. So I thought editing was like a more of a very black and white job. Technical job. Thoda bore ho rहा था. Correct. And a lot of manuscripts I used to get, frankly speaking, they were not even edited the first time. They just the first drafts given to the editors.
Right.
So that got me thinking that if I keep reading these books, my English will get bad. See, I can see already.
I don't know how much I agree with you there, because I am an editor and I love editing.
We love it. I also love to edit, but one time came that I thought, it is a headache correcting all these mistakes. And if the book was edited or gone through the first draft, or if the author had submitted a third or a fourth draft to me, that would have been something else. That's what I tell authors. If you're going to hire an editor, you first write your manuscripts, you self-edit, and then you give it to a beta reader, get people's opinions first, and then you send it to an editor, because the editor will not look at your first draft.
That's true, and this is something this is something that authors don't realize these days. It's like, we'll hire an editor, ho jayega edit. But dude, you also need to learn how to self-edit. You need to learn how to do that.
You don't need to learn how to do that. If वो लोग ऐसा है कि then if I'm self-editing, why am I paying you for it? That's not the thing, because an editor is giving you the objective viewpoint of your manuscript, your work, of your story you're written. There are many things: manuscript evaluation, story analysis, your character development, your plot issues. Grammar is the last and the least point of grammar. तो हो जाएगा वो software भी कर लेता है.
Exactly.
So grammarly भी कर लेता है. It's not a big deal. What you say, the grammar and copy editing is not a big issue, because at least in fiction, grammar rules can be broken.
Exactly.
If you know the rules. Matlab, if all it matters about is readability, the flow, the way the paragraph moves to another, one scene moves to another. That is where the editing happens. It is not the basic grammatical proofreading. That is fine. Commas, semicolons, the word usages, and active voice, passive voice, that kind of technicalities will happen. That's fine. But your objective viewpoint is there in your substantive or your structural editing. Now that can only happen if you're able to read that manuscript well.
Right.
But when you are giving an author is giving an editor a first draft, basically why we call it as a first draft as a vomit draft. It is just basically you are scribbled down the thoughts. So it is not coherent or not cohesive.
Right.
Now there are some authors who are very good in their first draft, but that is because they have had practice. They have had a lot of practice, and first and foremost, most of them are readers, avid readers. That's what I tell authors. Authors, please read. Just don't write. Everybody has a story. Story sabke paas hai.
Right.
But the way you are going to write a story, the craft, the art of writing, it can only happen if you are reading, if you have read well and read multiple books, read multiple genres also, especially. Yes. That is what happens. That is where practice comes in. Start by writing short stories or start by writing fan fiction. I started by writing Lord of the Rings fan fiction, by the way. Start by writing fan fiction. It's okay if you're writing somebody else's world. The world is already built for you. You just need to imagine a story and put that in your world. Make sure it is convincing enough. It obviously helps you in your social media following, etc. So
yes, that's true. That's true.
You have your
but
followers.
the
If your
most
followers
important
like you,
thing is to,
is to
read.
read and writing practice. Though both should go simultaneously, hand in hand. I think today's generation of authors, most of them at least, they fail to grasp that particular thing.
Varun, let's talk about your ghostwriting a bit. Tell us
Yeah.
what ghostwriting is and how, like, in what genres do you ghostwrite, and what do you do basically when you are ghostwriting?
Okay, so ghostwriting is something I went after editing. I got tired of editing. So ghostwriting was like, I mean, कहाँ से तो आना है stream, income stream. So it's good actually. It improved my writing in a way.
Okay.
I got the writing practice. Clients give me an outline or a structure or a basic detailed idea, and I turn it into chapters and then start writing as I would write any other book.
Okay.
So basically, I write the first draft, or even if the contract says second draft, then I write the second draft. So ghostwriting was something I've been doing for like around 5 to 6 years.
Okay.
I used to write a variety of genres. I started with writing erotica. Because that's where the clients were more. And,
oh, acha. Okay.
Yeah. Then came fantasy, and I thought the erotica, yeah, that's only. It's just, I mean, writing what? I mean, those stories, some substance to it. I mean, kitna feelings. I mean, I need to write some stories. So, no, erotica stories have stories, but they don't give me to write stories. They told me to write those scenes which they're uncomfortable with.
Okay.
So, for me, it was good money. Even I was uncomfortable, but I got paisa mil gaya, so I did it.
Definitely. If it is good money, then definitely.
Definitely. And it taught me to actually know feelings kaise dalna hai. So it was good practice. Then I moved on to thrillers. I started getting thrillers and mysteries, and I moved away from the erotica genre and I moved to those mystery substance. Then I moved to fantasy and sci-fi because that is where I'm most comfortable in. That is where I can also offer, tippanis, where I mean you can do this instead of that. I mean I can like offer editorial solutions along with basic just writing. I mean thrillers, I don't have any ideas. It is just fast paced. I'm not well read with the genre actually.
Okay.
Thrillers, I cannot offer more insights into thriller or crime mystery. I mean I could. Of course, I watched a lot of procedural TV shows. I could maybe give an idea, but it won't be too original, or it will be somewhere like not a copy. I would say inspired. Lot of inspiration.
Right.
Fantasy, sci-fi. I've been reading a lot. I've been watching a lot. I've been playing games a lot, RPG games a lot.
Okay.
I started writing fantasy, science fiction, and most importantly, a genre which is basically literally non-existent in India. It's called lit RPG or a game lit.
Oh,
This is where gaming elements or gaming constructs. Like if you have played RPG games like Lord of the Rings Online or
yes, I
Dungeons
have.
and Dungeons,
Yes.
Lord of the Rings Online or a Gothic series or something like that. Not RTS games, RPG games. Or MMORPG games. We are combining those constructs with literature.
Oh,
so basically
all right.
games through books.
Is it something like Ready Player One?
Yes, Ready Player One was a game. So I have been in touch with those authors. I have always been in touch with those authors who created this genre.
Right.
And I've been ghostwriting for some of the lit RPG authors as well.
Okay.
So I cannot name them obviously, but
no, that's fine. All right.
I've been writing for the lit RPG books, so it's very good because you're playing a game. It looks like you're playing a game also, and you're writing stuff. So both of my pastimes are both of my hobbies, and I'm getting paid for it.
Right.
That's really
That's
good.
the best feeling. That's the best feeling.
Yes. You're doing something, and you're getting good things for it.
I want to know, like where if I want to let's say venture into ghostwriting, where do we find clients for this?
Oh, I did it the hard way, networking with the writers.
Acha.
There are other platforms like Upwork and all those other things, but they pay very pennies compared to the actual clients, because most of them are agencies, and the agencies just outsource the work. So basically, you're getting pennies. You're getting like $0.01 an hour. It's still good for India, but why work for pennies when you can earn more? So it's basically networking. I took 2 years to network before I actually considered ghostwriting. You need to make friends, and then you convert those friends into clients, or at least, you tell them कि you keep marketing. Marketing is there. You go for word of mouth, or you go for social media marketing. It can work. Maybe you have a good website with good content and you have samples, portfolio ready. Yes, they can find you. There is always that element of inbound marketing that happens. But today's marketing is all about outbound. And outreach has to be there. You have to make people discuss about your books. That is where your books get marketed. Actually, with word of mouth, it's organic. वो फैंडम होता है, वो कम्युनिटी होता है, वो पर वो कम्युनिटी यहाँ पे वो कम्युनिटी एलिमेंट इज मिसिंग. पीपल डोंट गो टू बुक क्लब्स.
No, people don't.
People don't go to book clubs. I mean, क्या है book clubs are what? Nothing but glorified kitty parties. Actually, when an author writes a book, it's about the human psyche, and because everything is derived from an observation of character.
Observation, yes.
So you get to learn a lot of things, but people don't go to there because they have got this perception where this book club just comes and starts gorging on food. Okay, gorging on food happens, but gossip happens, but there is also a lot of
gorging on food happens.
Yeah, so there is a lot of learning as well, and why people are not going to book clubs. They have to go to book clubs. I mean, that is where you go meet people who read. I mean, who are your fellow readers. That is how a community is formed. Right?
Okay, Varun, let's talk about cartography now. How did you get into this field? What interested you? And how are you doing it? I mean, I've seen your maps and they are amazing. Please tell us a little bit about that.
Thank you. Again, thank you for the appreciation. I'm glad you liked it.
I love it.
Cartography is something I got into, I think, just last year, around 8 months ago. I think I started doing it around, I used to do it before, 2019, but it was not in frequency data.
Okay.
For a long time, I have been putting off graphic design. I mean, drawing nahi aata. Illustration, I don't know how to do it. I mean, I cannot draw or illustrate it on paper. How can I do it on a software? But with COVID, the business was down, and I thought diversification is the key, and people were buying more artistic, like book covers, graphics things. So why not diversify? Why not try my hand at it? I mean, cover design, मेरे को थोड़ा ये लगा. I mean, I could do. I'm learning it still. I mean, it's a product. It's a work in progress. But cartography I can do because it aligns with the services I provide.
Okay.
Apart from ghostwriting, I also do outlining. Now, outlining is where basically you structure a story and all that. Okay. I also provide world building services where I actually help authors develop a world of their own. So map making is basically a cartography, is basically a visual representation of that world I'm building.
That's true.
So that's kind of something. So I hadn't opened it for commercial purposes. I just practicing a lot of maps because I was new to graphical design. I don't know how it looked. I mean, I started first using map making software like Wonderdraft or Incarnate. Incarnate is basically a SaaS web browser based software, and it's cheap also. Per year it is like $25, and you can just make maps. So earlier maps, I think last year I think it came out through Incarnate.
Okay.
Incarnate. So it was more like the textures वगैरह, it was very lively. जो coloring होता था, it was more easier. It's more easier to do because it is not as complicated as Photoshop वगैरह. It is just easier to learn. The learning curve was much easier there. But Incarnate has this kind of perception that it produces some more gaming style maps rather than book or film oriented maps.
Okay.
It's more a gaming style. It's more like you get reminded of Age of Empires or Battle for Middle, that kind of games. So people are not willing to go for that, buying that kind of those. There are people who are buy those kind of maps, but there are also people who don't go. They prefer illustrated maps.
Okay.
So basically, everything that I'm doing to cartography is self-taught. I mean, I haven't gone through.
So no training, no certification courses,
no training,
nothing.
No certification.
Wow.
No tutorials. I've just been learning the software tools.
Okay.
What it does, and from practice to practice I kept getting better. If you see my earlier map, so eventually I got better at it, and I also use another software called as Wonderdraft. That's also I also purchased it. It is good for overland maps, more parchment style maps. More not exactly vintage, but parchment style. Something you could see in books or movies, वगैरह.
Right,
That kind of book finesse. Incarnate has a more gaming file of maps, but it also can do overland maps. But Incarnate also has city maps. You can do cities, dungeons,
Okay.
वगैरह. So these maps are basically find your clientele, basically authors, publishers, filmmakers, or mostly those people who play Dungeons and Dragons, and there is a huge market for that. There's a huge market.
Okay.
I'm not yet, but the thing is, I'm not be able to tap into it easily because in India you have people who play Dungeons and Dragons market. Like I said, it's a whole scattered. There's no community as such. So it is very difficult, and I can't sit in India and know people in the US or the UK who are playing Dungeons and Dragons.
Right.
Because they're not authors. Because see, from a long time, because I've been doing ghostwriting, I've been doing editing, I've been more or less focused on the author community rather than the gaming community.
Right.
I have played RPG games like Gothic, Far Cry, Battle, all this thing, but Witcher and all that. But I'm not engaged in the community as much as, like I say, I engage in reading communities or TV show communities.
Right.
I'm not engaged much in that, so I don't have that kind of friends level वो personal connection नहीं है. वो जो inroad जो बोलते हैं ना, I don't have the inroads to it. Even now, it's difficult because there are too many people who are doing cartography. Actually, that is a tough. Like I said, that is a Dragons, Pathfinder, Elder Scrolls, Lotro maps. They're very vast market. And Dungeons and Dragons, though it is very vast, it's not the only RPG game available out there. There's Pathfinder, there's Elder Scrolls, there are RuneScapes. There's so many. I can name 42 actually. So there's so many games and so many maps. So recently I started learning Affinity Photo, which is an alternative to Photoshop.
Okay.
So I've got access to these brushes to use. It's easy to draw maps instead of starting from scratch. I mean, drawing mountains, like I said, मेरा freehand drawing color thing. Mountains might look something else then if I draw it as like an illustrator or Affinity designer or something like that. So these brushes already have those shapes ready, and I just
okay.
It makes your job easier, but the creativity is still yours. I mean, the maps, and for map making, the one critical rule, you have to be very good at geography or geology and kind of textures. You have to know soil erosion. Those geographical concepts that you may have forgotten now, but which you have covered in your 8th, 9th and 10th standard. You've forgotten all of those. And you have to
reacquaint yourself.
With the knowledge. I'm a very geographically oriented person. मेरे को geography का ये knowledge अच्छा था. Even now, currently, geography knowledge is good, but वो soil erosion, the technicalities of it. For example, if soil wind कैसे आता है, wind directions, that kind of where the wind blows, where the rivers come. The rivers have to come from a top, like a mountain to a ocean. It can't it can't be arbitrary.
Right.
Like a road, for example. This has to come from something. There are aquifers, there are so many other things. Authors or publishers, even gamers, will not know the geology and geography part. That they will depend on you to correct it.
Right.
I can say that there cannot be two rivers arbitrary. I mean, some people think the rivers split. Rivers can't split, rivers join. Rivers can't split. I mean,
wow.
Unless there's a hill. In very special circumstances where there's a magically land island आ गया बीच में, तो तब जाके वो river एक sea बनाता है.
Now I understand why it is important for cartographers to know geography. Because अगर आपको topology नहीं पता है तो आप वो बना ही सकते हैं बिल्कुल ही.
You have to be very careful here. So then when you're building a world, these maps are graphical representations of those worlds. Like for example, Lord of the Middle-earth ka maps, so basically your startup, it helps your reader get acquainted with the world. I mean, for some of them use maps as consultation. Like, okay, where this character is going from point A to point B. Suppose he's following a particular route. Now, where is this route here? For example, Gandalf went to Moria. So, where is Moria in the map? So, maps help you, see visually where it is.
हाँ, fantasy novels में तो maps are a must because इतना huge world रहता है ना, you don't understand where the character is, कहाँ गया character, कहाँ से होके जा रहा है, you need to know everything. So fantasy में definitely, हाँ.
So that is my market, the fantasy authors, your publishers, even your filmmakers, even films use maps sometimes, not every time. But gamers mostly. Obviously, I have to create an inroad for that. I've been selling a few maps, but it's still not to that level yet. So I have started using Photoshop. I'm learning Photoshop. I'm learning Affinity Photo, which is actually an alternative to Photoshop. It's a cheaper alternative. It is much UI is much better, and I think I got a handle on it because my latest maps are mostly using Affinity Photo. At least I started in January. So my latest 4-5 map जो रहेगा वो parchment map. I have it on Insta, so I'm putting those on Instagram. So those are maps I made using Affinity Photo. So they were mostly I create perspectives, like for example, escorted carriage, an army escorting a carriage from one place to another, or a battle sequence that is happening, riders charging, something that is inspired obviously by the Ride of the Rohirrim in the Pelennor Fields ka battle जो मेरा चित्रित करता है. Or I recently did this map where I had a town and pikemen were there, and I had a big cavalry charge coming in. It was somewhat inspired by this Rings of Power wala scene while Galadriel is riding ahead of the Numenor army and coming to the rescue of the Southlands. So that is much more inspired. So I see movies, I see read these books, and I see how to make maps. For example, at least last December, I think I was doing Middle Earth series, where I was recreating the maps of regions of Middle Earth.
Okay.
Okay. So I have done Rohan, I have done Mirkwood, I have done South Mordor, I have done Southlands. All of these maps, Haradrim Vagera, I have covered. People were so like, oh my god, these are so beautiful.
But obviously they are.
These are so beautiful. I wanted to cover because it was something different, because I did my own viewpoint in it. For example, Shire ka I invented new cities, new things. So people can play their campaigns in the map. Obviously, you can rename it to something else also as a map. You don't need to be the Shire, but my inspiration was the Shire. My recreation was a recreation of the Shire.
I want to ask one question here. When you recreate or reimagine these maps, how accurate do you have to be to what is already known? And like, are there any kind of copyright issues? और ये लिख सकते हैं और ये नहीं लिख सकते हैं?
I can't sell or remake the lore.
Okay.
So I can't say that Hobbiton is mine. Right. I have to show Hobbiton the same way, but I can invent a different city as long as I don't sell those maps. I'm not selling those maps. I can't sell those maps because these are recreations of Lord of the Rings. That's a copyright of the Tolkien estate.
Right.
I can't say this world is mine. But I can recreate maps. That is not a big issue.
Achha. But you can sell off recreations of these worlds like Shire and everything as like no, you can't.
I can't sell.
No. Okay. I'm asking because I have no idea how this works.
I can't sell it without. They won't mind because I'm a too small an entity. But if they come to know, this is going to be a problem. It's better not to do it. At least if you're going to sell these, maybe just write a letter to Tolkien Estate and be clear of everything. I'm trying to diversify. What happens is I feel that graphics has a huge market. I'm going to try to get into graphics and animation and VFX so that I can earn more through that, and I can cut down on my ghostwriting so I can write my own books, my own world.
Yes.
Because what happens is when
you should definitely do that.
To get tired of writing for others, you have to write for yourself.
Exactly. And you have such a huge knowledge base about the fantasy world and how to do world building and descriptions and everything. You should definitely get into doing your own book.
I have this world. I had actually created in 2011 or 2012. I had created this big world where it was more like LOTR inspired, but it was more it was same kind of fantasy, not like the Game of Thrones like medieval thing, but it was something different. Something different. It was like Middle Earth only, but thoda sa mast elves I not used else, but I had called it something else. So, but what happens is you get lost, and I kept building the world. I didn't start writing.
Okay.
World करते गया. I have so many backstories, but I don't have the actual story.
Okay. Yeah, this is what happens to me when I get lost editing and I stop writing. I only edit and I stopped writing.
Yeah. So what happens is when I kept world building, the actual story क्या है जो 10 books में 10 books में होने वाला था. I have the start, I have the end, but what happens in the middle? 10 books, something has to happen. I don't know that, but I have all the backstories. I had them in plenty, and I actually started writing the first book. But then I got a writer's block, and then now what happens is high fantasy is not a marketable genre as such.
Right.
It does not find your audience easily. So even with the world building I have, even with the cartography or even with the visual things, it is going to be very difficult to reach out. If I have to get a following first, I have to do something that writes to market. What does write to market? So basically you follow the basic whatever trending tropes are there and you get to succeed in it. Even that is a challenging job, but it is still marketable.
I read a book by one of my friends. She had written children's fiction and she had used a sort of self-created map in that book. तो मुझे ऐसे लगता है ना, this is also something that can be done, is like with maps they can go really well with children's fantasy or middle grade fantasy में they can go. They will be a little less sophisticated, but वो उसमें जा सकते हैं.
उसमें जा सकते हैं, but they're less sophisticated. They're kind of different also. A little bit different. But yes, maps have a lot of users, and they do have a lot of people who look to commission maps. But mostly gamers. These guys just need maps. Okay, some of them are learned to make maps. That is my concern, but fine. But not all of them have that level of creativity to go to do maps. I mean, they don't have the artistic skill. They prefer to hire out. So people like us still have a business, still have something to run. But there is a danger of this artificial intelligence coming in. But I could have gone for book covers. I mean, it would have been easier to learn because there is a lot of material available. There are a lot of artists who do book covers. It would have been easier, but book not a niche market. It is a mass market. It is everybody is doing book covers, and it did not exactly fit into something I've been offering. I've been offering world building and outlining like I told. Cartography fit very well because it is a reflect. It is a graphical mirror. ये जो world बना रहे हैं यहाँ पे हम लोग building a world. This is just a visual representation of that world. A book cover is more a visual representation of the story involved, but this map represents your whole world, how it is like.
Right. Okay. So I wanted to ask you one last question. You spoke about niche market, because obviously cartography right now is a niche market. There are a lot of people that I know, a lot of artists that I know who have just started, and ये बहुत ही ज़्यादा tendency होता है, we get bogged down with अरे वो इतना अच्छा कर रहा है या इसका तो कोई market नहीं है, मेरे को तो ये पसंद है, but there is no market for it. I want to write horror, but India में नहीं है, scope नहीं है. So there are a lot of such fears. So what would you like to tell these artists, since you are learning a field that is right now just a burgeoning thing in India? I want to ask you what you would say to these artists who are just beginning their career and learning new things. Give them something to hold on to.
See, don't get bogged down by all this. I mean, I will say that don't get demotivated. ये market नहीं है तो हम लोग को ये नहीं करना है. You should do what you like. There is a market for everything. It is just how to reach the market. I mean, and if there is no market, create it.
Right.
अभी obviously create it. अभी horror books का market नहीं है. अभी when Neil Deal first published his first Maya's New World, there was literally zero market for it. I mean, horror authors were very few, but he created a market, right?
Yes, he
and
did.
Nowadays,
yes.
He created market. So you can create a market. Cartography में market नहीं है. India में नहीं है, but you have market abroad.
Right.
Sell there. India में बेचने को India में ही sell करने का है. Nobody has. It's a global world. Sell abroad. If your market is not here, sell abroad. Get a following there, and then see if you can use your position there to create a market here.
Right.
ये भी हो सकता है. That is also one. There's so many ways to create a market. If you don't have, there is a market for everything. It's like there's no market at all. It is just that niche markets, mass market hasn't experienced those markets. I mean, Like elite RPG, like I said, people don't read it year because they don't know the market. They don't know what elite RPG. They don't know what is it. But if people, and even with traditional publishers, they don't take risks on these genres. They are
right.
I mean, I have not seen a Penguin or a HarperCollins, selecting a elite RPG manuscript or publishing it even. No. Even abroad also, elite RPG is a very it's a niche market inside a niche market. So, but still people are selling books. I mean, that means there is a market for it. You just need to find a way to reach that market. The only way you can do it is find a way to reach that community, learn it. Google is king nowadays. Google सब कुछ information है देगा. There are so many lit RPG Discord servers you can join, or so many Reddit communities. Even these artists who are venturing into digital art or 3D art, or going to learn Blender or 3DX Maya or whatever, 3DX or Maya, Autodesk, वगैरह. Go to YouTube, go for Udemy or learn these. Even Udemy professors allow you to ask questions and answers. They also have their own Discord or Reddit communities. Join those. Network. और कुछ नहीं होने वाला है, because see, social media marketing, digital marketing, it can only take you so much, and not everyone has that skill, to go Facebook marketing ad create करो या कैसे reach out करो. What will you do then? You will have to market. Right? Networking is the key. Slow,
right?
But it's very, very, very effective. It's much more effective than paying for ads. You will have to depend on ads at some point of time, but पहला client मिलना है तो network करो. Because nobody is going to pay money to a newbie, especially if if you don't have a digital footprint, and if you are an artist, make sure you have a sizable portfolio. You can use websites like Dribble, ArtStation, Behance, DeviantArt. These websites have so many communities, and they have so many marketplaces. Etsy has marketplaces. Just try each and every Patreon, Kickstarter, do anything. Just जो opportunity मिलता है ले लो. कोई ये market नहीं है, ऐसा नहीं होता है. Don't get demotivated. Try hard. Success हुआ तो it's good. Failure हुआ तो you can move on to something else. Maybe come back at later on, because if cartography doesn't work for example, go for graphic designing. Covers है, वहाँ पे बेचो, वहाँ पे following create करो, because covers people buy.
Right.
Covers people want. Maybe they see how well you are artistically in your artistical design your covers are. Maybe if you say I'm also offering maps, maybe they might come.
Of course, yes.
Because मैं maps भी बनाता हूँ, I can make some other stuff or other digital art stuff. They will come. Why not? So, if you're going for new stuff, or if you're going to stuff like do market or quite niche, maybe do it as a side business.
Right.
Put it as a
initially.
और जो mass market में trending है वो पहले करो. I can understand that ये मेरे को पसंद नहीं है, मेरे को सिर्फ maps करना पसंद है, और मेरे को सिर्फ digital art करना पसंद है, मेरे को सिर्फ 3D मॉडल बनाना आता है. That is very restrictive. You will have to diversify in this age of the world. You can't just stick to one particular thing. So
that's actually very insightful, and I can totally relate to it, because एक दो दिन पहले I was having this discussion with my husband, and because I am a very niche writer, I write crime and horror, and he's like, if you keep sticking to writing what you want to write, you will never make it big. You have to write what people want to read. First, go the mass market way. Write romance or whatever. Don't write crappy romance. Write good romance and good stories. Sell yourself, and then come back to your niche. You will always have time to do and develop and learn your niche. लेकिन आपको वो organic अपना बनाना पड़ेगा.
That was why I'm seeing before writing high fantasy, I want to explore urban fantasy, which is much more readable, or mass market. Still, it is still fantasy, so I like doing it. But it is not that kind of fantasy that I prefer. I get excited about writing.
Right.
Urban fantasy is a good genre to write in. So yeah, I'm trying to write my first books. It is mostly of a horror, like called as Ghosts of Heart and All. So let's see this year कहीं ना कहीं publish करना है मेरे को एक book at least.
हो जाएगा. I'm very sure. If you keep at it and if you keep writing, then definitely this year हो जाएगा.
Yes, that's what I think. Keep writing it. That is what the problem is. Distraction is more of it.
I just want to thank you for coming on Pay It Forward and sharing your experiences with us. It has been so amazingly fun to talk to you because I am also a fantasy nerd and we have been nerding out so much. I am actually kind of afraid that our audience is not going to understand what we are talking about.
Or they might get interested in the genre as such.
Yes.
Who knows? They might just see, hey, we are seeing two people nerding out. Let's nerd ourselves out as well. Because nerding out is
True.
good. It's de-stresses. I mean, and there's a lot of community online also. So maybe they will join a part of it. Who knows? We might inspire people along the way. And yes, thank you for inviting me to your show. I watched a few episodes and they were really good. Earlier ones.
Thank you.
I think it's a good initiative, and I hope you continue forward. Invite all kinds of people. There's a lot of people, writers, artists.
Yes.
Have a singer as well sometime.
Yes. I am definitely going to musician. I already know a few people who sing and who are music composers. So I am going to call all of them, and I just hope that in this way I can just highlight these artists, like you and like myself and other people. लोगों को पता तो चले यार. There's so much of talent within us.
So much of talent. India has a lot of talent and a lot of artists here. They need exposure.
Right.
They need exposure. They need to be starless. I mean, writers they don't have, nobody knows. I mean, screenwriters, people don't know who they are. We know the actors. Amir Khan, Shah Rukh Khan. Screenwriter कौन है? Javed Akhtar. He is not the only writer in the industry. Most of the times he's a lyricist. He's a screenwriter as well, but most of the time he writes lyrics. But we know as a writer only we know a couple or 3 or 4 people, but there are so many writers in screenwriting world who are gems.
Yeah.
And we don't know them. There are so many singers we don't know. Just in the background, we don't know them. There are so many directors, there are so many cinematographers, there are so many VFX artists. We don't know what goes on behind the scenes.
That is the thing. The true artists, the people who are making and helping in creating these sort of gems that are out there for people to watch and to listen to. These true artists are always behind the screen. They are always behind the screen.
Yes. I think even with books, like I'm working with the indie, with the world building, the outline, there are a lot of people who are providing these services. But do people know of them? Who does the outlining for them? No, they don't. They don't know the writer because the book name is on the cover. Obviously, because it is a writer's story, it is a writer's book. But there are so many editors or people who need to do exposure. I mean, hey, edit karti hai book, so that's good. You edit your book. People need to know that you edit your books.
Right.
You are a good editor. People know that he's a good cover artist, or he's a good map maker. He's a good digital artist, or he creates 3D models. Or there are some people who do really hand-drawn stuff and use carving, sculptures, वगैरह. These people don't know them. Acting and all is fine. You're acting as actors and all, they are artists as well, but you know them because they are in front. But there are a lot of things that help them become who they are the crew.
Right.
The behind the scenes people.
Right. We are the behind the scenes people.
So that is what these people need exposure. They need to be focused on, especially in fantasy and sci-fi genres. We look to Western authors. वहाँ पे succeed हुआ तो वो book अच्छा होगा, यहाँ पे बिकेगा. But when you write an indigenous fantasy novel जो इंडिया में लिखा हुआ है, जो वेस्टर्न में पब्लिश नहीं हुआ है या मार्केट नहीं हुआ है, then यार ये इंडियन ऑथर ने लिखा है, पता नहीं कैसे होगा.
Right. Yeah, I think the market for fantasy, at least mythological fantasy, has increased in India, especially thanks to people like Ashwin Sanghi and Shatrujit Nath and everything. So it's picking up. I think mythological fantasy is just one step away from high fantasy.
High fantasy. We are more or less like Western books.
True.
Sanderson रहेगा तो हम लोग पहला क्रॉसवर्ड में पहला लाइन में लाएंगे.
Of course, yes.
But Indian writing You have to encourage. You have to encourage Indian books. Only then will people motivated to write more books like this. That is what I think. If you had come to literature, this is this year, last year. Neil Silva made an excellent point in this video. His speech was brilliant. People will buy Western books, but we're not buying Indian books. There's so many good Indian authors. If you buy them, they'll be motivated to give you better stories.
It's a circle. It's a circle, definitely.
Writers वही लिखते जो readers को पता है, पर readers को कैसे पता है कि वो जॉनर अच्छा नहीं होगा, क्योंकि वो मोटिवेट ही नहीं करेंगे तो फिर वो पढ़ेंगे नहीं, तो फिर कैसे पता चलेगा? जब readers पढ़ेंगे नहीं तो writer भी बोलेंगे ये लिख के क्या करूँगा मैं, मार्केट में
exactly.
Basically, you're stuck in a circle and nobody is willing to break the whole.
Yes.
Of course, there are a lot of authors who are ticket, but there are also a lot of good authors as well.
Yes.
And the ticket authors are there everywhere, but they're everywhere. Even in abroad, there are a lot of ticket authors. In self-publishing also, only 1 or 2% will be really good authors. But compared to speaking, we have to even read books, whether it is good or even bad books also. Even bad books, yes.
Yes.
Because they give us information on what not to do.
Yes, that's true. Yeah.
हम लोग को ये नहीं करना चाहिए. And sometimes even bad books are entertaining. In a way, they can be entertaining.
Yes.
I'm not saying they're bad. They might be bad for us, but they might be good, bad. Everything is subjective. It depends on reader to reader. Obviously, I'm talking about bad books where there are grammatical problems.
Yeah.
But they have some books that have grammatical fallacies, but the story will be really good. So we have to give an Indian, they are very, very challenging because there are a lot of gems over here. I mean, Koral Dasgupta, Kiran Dunjal, all these authors are really, really good authors, and the books are. I mean, I read Face at the Window. It's a horror book by Kiran Dunjal by analyse. It's a gothic horror kind of thing, and its prose was so fluid. I just fell in love with the book. I mean, next book was Missing Presumed Dead. Maybe I didn't find it likable because that's not my genre exactly. So maybe that affected me a little bit. But then I think the Kitty Party murder, I think. Kitty Party wala jo hai, that was something different. See, Kiran Dunjal, she's a multi-genre author. She's writing.
She's very versatile. She's writing everything.
She's writing romance. She's writing romance. She started off with parenting books. She found success in parenting books or non-fiction books or self-development books. It is only when she got to that stage where she can sell books, she started writing. She used to write before as well, fiction as well, but very less. She was mainly known for her non-fiction books or narrative non-fiction books. But now, Face at the Window, Missing Presumed Dead, Kitty Party Murder, and then I think she's written some other one. Then again, she's written Rising, 30 Women. Ka story she has written. See, it's quite different. It's spread out across non-fiction and fiction. It's very versatile. I mean, it's not just stick to one genre as such. Yes, written multiple genres, and she has found success in all the genres. So it is not like it is very bad to write multiple genres. Some people think that it ruins your identity. I mean, when people say, for example, I am writing a horror series and I'm keeping on writing horror series, publishing horror books, that doesn't mean I can't write romance. Some people think that, अरे यार तुम ये नाम से romance publish करोगे, पर your readers will expect romance.
Okay.
That issue is also there, but it is not a bad thing. You have to write multiple genres.
This is truly a really, really wonderful session. मुझे बहुत मजा आया.
It helps that there's a fellow nerd opposite you.
It does, yeah.
ऐसा discussion कभी होता नहीं है. I mean, even with Silva, I talk regularly, but ऐसा discussion नहीं होता. I mean, we talk about writing and FWB and all that literature and stuff, but we don't geek out.
You don't geek out. Exactly. Geeking out. It is so important.
Geeking out. I love geeking out. I mean, Discord servers, Reddit servers, love geeking out.
Yeah.
In any case, I can continue geeking out. So, I think any number of Zoom meetings will be less.
Okay. Thank you so much, Varun. I hope to see you again and hope to see your art going places everywhere. And thank you.
You're welcome. And thank you again for inviting me. Had a good time.
Okay. Yes, me too. Thank you everyone for joining us in this conversation today. Honestly, I had so much fun talking to Varun that our session actually kind of ran on for 3 hours, and these are just the highlights of what we talked about. I'm going to leave the links to all of Varun's social media handles down in the description section of this video. I urge you to go and check out his work. It's fantastic. If you like this video and you like Varun's work and the magic that he creates through his maps, make some noise around his art and let everybody around you know that this person exists and he has such amazing skill within him. For the next video, I'm going to open the floor to all of you. Who do you think I should call for the next video? Which art should I talk about in the next video of Pay It Forward? Let me know in the comment section. See you guys next week. Until then, love and light to you. Take care of yourselves. Bye bye.